June month and we are celebrating winter season. Look at what we are wearing today on our AWOKH version. Photos on our Instagram page. And during this winter season, we are celebrating our Wow Woman seasons. And I've just mentioned something interesting on my Instagram page about my mama Anna Philander's Wow Woman fact, right? The fact of the birth womb in the currentness of our generation. The fact of how the birth womb of my mama Anna Philander in the currentness of our generation are presented, right? The international face of the mama that has birthed humanity are presented through my mama Anna Philander's birth, that my mama Anna Philander was born in South Africa in California many years ago. And the international face was presented and represented through how my Anna looked, through my mama Anna's birth womb in South Africa in the currentness of our generation, and through the face of my mama, through the appearance of my mama, presenting every part of the international woman that are presented through the mama womb, right? The international men was then born through my mama's womb. There are the four corners of the earth, and they were then presented through my four brothers, right? And they are then the north, south, west, and east sons. And those four sons is my oldest brother, Martin. He's now 56 years old. He turned 56 in the month of May, right? And that's why I'm celebrating this with him, yes. And I have not even wished him happy birthday yet, and I have not made time to talk to him. And he was the young boy that was with my mama when my mama was on the 1969 walk from California to Sierra Spal, where I was born, right? And where all the other children were then born. And while I'm the seventh born baby of the womb itself, America has explained their terminology of the womb of the mama in the universe. They've explained in films that my mama Anna Philander presents a lot of the African American mamas, a lot of the American European families, a lot of Europe itself. That is the birth womb of the Anna mama. And that in the international womb of my grandmama that looks more like a Chinese grandmama, yes, and my mama Anna Philander's mama, yes, mama grandma Martha, and my mama Anna Philander's sister Auntie Fen, that also talks like a Chinese grandmama, that the womb was then internationally born. And my mama Anna Philander's father's family then, that also to me looks like the Maoris, yes, like the New Zealanders, and my mama Anna present a lot of the New Zealand mamas. And my mama Anna was then born in South Africa, and that then the face of the international mama Anna womb, right? I know a lot of countries knows already about the mama Anna womb. They know already how the womb. Thank you for joining the room. Yes, we have two people there. Say, press like in the videos and share your thoughts with me while we are talking, right? And I know that during the years, I've learned that a lot of people have been educated about the mama womb in the universe, right? And when we were born in South Africa, we were not realizing the amount of attention that was drawn to our family. And the amount of attention, not because of information, that is now the family tree of humanity that was now also forming an amazing great part of the mama Anna womb amongst humanity, that my mama Martha was in the year 2100 years old, about 100-year generation. And my mama Martha was deceased, I think she was between 94 and 100, right? In the year 2000s. And 2000 years ago, the very first people on earth were born, and many people had record and keep record of the informations. And our family had a lot of attention drawn to us. And I really did not realize it until recently when I traveled back from South Africa, and I've learned that there's attention. And America said the videos through to our Netflix, through to my YouTube, and I then learned a lot about the four sons of the earth, right? And how my brothers are representing the face of the four sons, and then how my mama Anna Philander, a birth that is exactly now to us the complete appearance of the mama universe womb, right? And I know that in America, they explain a lot in their films. Yes, Oprah Winfrey looks like my mother, yes. And a lot of the Brixton family values education, they look like my mama, Anna Philander, Tony Brixton, name's mother, yes. And the four sons in Brian McKnight look like my brother, like one of my brothers. And all the family members are then presented. I then were introduced in New Zealand that they then also look like my mama Anna Philander and like my sister Antoinette a lot. And they really don't look like me because I'm the baby of the family. I look more like the Ethiopian family line of the international world. And I look more like the Somalian family line of the international world, yes. And therefore, I'm then the baby of the baby countries, right? And while we learn so much about the family tree of humanity, some people has got the information and they're managing it in a fine and sensitive way for the international world. But when we realize that you are so much part of everyone's discussion and everyone's implementations, then you are now not going to be the pretty popper that's now the photo of a Vogue business that's now the whole time going to be fine and be looking fine and going to be the pretty popper, right? You're going to live a normal day life, and even though your womb are presented as being the queen womb, and I always mention it on my social media page, my mama Anna Philander's womb are the queen womb amongst humanity. Lots of political leaders have got the information and they're trying to shift the information aside. Why? Because they sometimes busy with processes where they want to steal our womb communication, and where family members of us have died already in such processes where the world learns to function around the womb rather than following the process that are sometimes required, right? And that's when the Americans then send us the films through, because the aggressions were a lot in the international world. And in such circumstances, you would want families to be informed of the opinions that people have about households and about how households can be affected in such aggressions and discussions, right? And I know that it's fine for people that when my brother Richard was deceased, I know a lot of Brother Richards in the international world thought that they can now steal the communication line and they run with it. The baby was born, and they want the communication in the universe so that they can build a celebrity house on it. And such has been certain generations and peoples, right? And such has been certain processes on earth. And such are why countries have wars, because of the birth womb in the universe that are so much disrupted and oppressed and diverted elsewhere, right? And that's where I have said a lot of information on social media. I know no one wants to contact me about these discussions, and I know everyone is trying to divert the communications because now they've gotten to know a little bit more about how I sound, where I communicate from, and I know people have now had a little bit, not more than communication that they have had about me, but they now didn't realize that I would be the baby RIBEA that would now not allow our womb in South Africa to now be disrupted, and for the communication now to go to a King Charles house or to go to a European house rather than acknowledging the birth womb in the family tree that the womb has been born in South Africa, right? And that's where the international world are having a lot of discussions during our season and time, where they are having to understand what does the queen womb means to the international world, when there's people that were now the families and the grandmamas, and then the baby's born, and then what does the baby mean to our generation, right? The baby of the womb itself. I know many people explain it as the baby then being now the oldest because the baby has got more information that the old people that were now previously born don't have such information. And in the currentness of our season, the womb is then kept in a way that the information are now not diverted to create chaos, and the information and the womb informations and communications are now not all over the place amongst humanity, and humanity can keep track so that they can be preventative to war circumstances and to aggressive circumstances on earth. And such is the sensitivity of our Mama Anna Philander womb in South Africa. And I know South Africa has played around with the womb a lot. They have played around with a lot of informations. They have played around with a lot of communications about our womb, and they are trying to tune into us while trying to also divert our communications to someone else's house. And I know things like that has happened over the years, and has caused a lot of disruptions generation. But we are in a time where we have to divert people to what is the current recognition and acknowledgement that you give to the baby that is Mama Anna Philander self, that is now not the baby of the house, but that is Mama Universe of the birth room self, that exactly understands and realize the challenges that humanity has, and that would exactly be able to explain humanity out of aggressions, out of poverty, out of wars, because the baby acknowledges the womb itself, right? And therefore, we are in a generation with a AWOKH business where I educate very thoroughly on why it is important for our generation to acknowledge the womb that I'm born in, right? The womb that they sometimes wanted to divert the communications and just wanted to steal a RIBEA ELISE communication, and then they share it amongst themselves, and then they pretended the baby was never born, and then green eyes to the Europeans sometimes remain to be green eyes, blondie sometimes remain to be blondie, and then baby RIBEA say, but I'm the baby born in all of those family wombs. And in the currentness of our generation, acknowledgement and recognition is the wow woman requirement that birth seasons of generations of people. And that's where we are at with our requirements in our season today, and with what we have educated on our self-addition to educations, and with why we share our informations, right? So that no one finds a way around situations and then they create more situations, right? It is that you acknowledge what does a queen womb mean to humanity? Why was humanity educated about a queen womb? Where is humanity at with the processes on earth that are so disruptive? There are wars, there are aggressions, there are poverties, and how is humanity finding way to create a fair world for everyone, right? That finds themselves in it. A fair world for every requirement that we have to acknowledge every process and to acknowledge every part of how humanity finds themselves presenting themselves in these seasons. And while we are in that we are acknowledging so much of ourselves, we give recognition to my oldest brother that celebrated his birthday in the month of May. We will give recognition to all the children in the family's womb. To my older sister, yes, she's the oldest woman in the womb. She celebrates her birthday now in July, in winter season. And my brother Martin now celebrates his birthday celebrated in the month of May. He's 56, Brother Jacques is now 50, Brother Anthony is 43, and I'm now 40 this year, and still walking my 40, gonna be 41 this year, and we celebrate the womb of seasons, walking our journey of seasons in a fair way, and in a way that we allow ourselves the right as we're acknowledging ourselves in our seasons. And that's where we are at with our live stream. Thank you for joining the room. Say your thoughts with regards to our AWOKH business. Yes, everyone has the openness to share their thoughts and the openness to give an opinion on how they feel about the information sharing, right? I believe I'm very open with information sharing and open with the requirement that a generation of people have to share information. Information sharing is not just releasing a lot, but information sharing makes a way for the baby processes amongst humanity. Information sharing is not just releasing people out of poverty and out of aggressions, but information sharing makes way for every new baby that are being born on earth on a daily basis. And that's where we are at with me being the baby, the 7th born baby, RIBEA ELISE, right? And while we are at that season, let's enjoy our Saturday together, right? What I'm drinking a cup of my favorite. This is a treat yourself. It's a very lovely warm drink. I'm having a crispy chips with that. And I'm just relaxing the Saturday afternoon, right, and enjoying the treat yourself moment with a good crispy chips and a good and then I'm gonna watch a good movie after that. Let me just take the battery. Then I'm gonna watch a good movie, a good film after that. Oh. I've not really just splashed on this camera thingy. I've said a lot. Look at where our autumn. Thank you, autumn season. Yes, acknowledgement. Look at where autumn is hiding in our shoe. Acknowledgement. What did I now want to say about autumn season? The womb autumn season. Everyone order our AWOKH magazine, yeah. In our AWOKH magazine, say hi if you're still in the room, everyone. Our AWOKH magazine really says a little bit. Thank you. Say hi if you're in the room. Thank you. Please like and say hi. Thank you. Our AWOKH magazine, I say a lot of motivational information in. I'm very motivationally driven, right? And while I see a lot of motivational information in my AWOKH magazine, I want everyone to see in the journey of my opinion, right? And of how I educate in our seasons edition, right? And that I share my seasons journey with everyone. I don't know, my mama Anna Philander used to, I've mentioned it in the previous video, she used to love to do gardening, right? And she used to be one of the best gardeners those years, and she won the competition those years on the Kwekerij. When she and my Papa Yapi were staying on the Kwekerij farm, and they had a very nice garden. And the way that I'm sharing my photos now, and it's a season's journey that my mama and my Papa had many years ago. The journey brought them to where they met in AWOKH, South Africa, and they really found themselves in walking a journey of seasons, a relationship journey of seasons, right? If you have listened to our relationship talk on our Instagram page, I'm still going to share the videos on YouTube for the YouTube listeners to press play on what we discussed this month, right? And what did we discuss the month of autumn season? While we are in the generation where we see our season's journey with everyone, we are required to allow our listeners to acknowledge themselves while we share the journey, and to acknowledge where we find ourselves in with our opinions about ourselves, right? And while in this season, I want us to really listen to when my mama Anna Philander and Papa Yapi met on the AWOKH Swaaibrug many years ago. The AWOKH then had the AWOKH restaurant, right? And my mama Anna Philander, yes, thank you, praise, like, hi, everyone. And when my mama Anna Philander and my Papa Yapi then met on the AWOKH Swaaibrug in South Africa, they then had the journey where they then had parented the children onwards, right? And while they then traveled to Paarl community from AWOKH Ceres area, and I know on Ceres Mountains it can snow, and that's why we're in the season's journey of our education. And that's why I'm sharing my season's thoughts with everyone, right? My husband is now really not a romantic person, and our relationship in marriage is now really not that I would want everyone in on our marriage, right? So I'm sharing really my season's opinion on relationships. I'm really sharing my independent season's womb education that I share with everyone. And I'm really sharing that I always explain that is everything RIBEA in these seasons. When I give my education in relationship talk, when I share my opinion on leading this generation, when I share my opinion in our seasons book, it is everything RIBEA, ELISE, right? Everything me seasons, everything about my journey. And then while my mama Anna Philander and my papa Yapi then was then meeting on the Woverkloof Swaaibrug, right? So when it's snowing in Sierra's area and it's very cold, then it's good to go on a date to Woverkloof. I don't think the Woverkloof restaurant is open yet again, but I hope they would open the Woverkloof restaurant again because it's a very direct part of the Mama Universe womb itself that my Mama Anna Philander presents the birth womb of in the face of. And I would really want South Africa to honor that part of my Mama Anna and my Papa Yapi's. And I would really want the complete season's journey shared rather than a little bit of information here and a little bit of information there. And the same way we keep historical buildings there. My Papa Yapi was then building Pal community where we had our matric balls on a yearly basis. When we complete our secondary school, my Papa Yapi was building that hallway for us. And he was part of those builders in that radius. They built a few buildings there. And I think he was also building the Stadsaal at that time, right? And he was building Drakensberg municipality. Yes, he was one of the builders there. And while my Mama Anna and my Papa Yapi forms very part of the historical inheritance of South Africa, we really want South Africa to realize the sensitivity when America educated South Africa about Mama Anna Philander's representation in the birth womb. Anna in humanity amongst humanity. And that South Africa really learns to listen to how do you honor the mama womb amongst humanity. How do you honor not what people wanting to be selfish? And I know everyone wants it to be their mama and wants their parents to be honored, but there's recognition given, and it is to recognize the family womb and the birth womb of humanity self. And that's where Mama Martha's birth was then explained with being in her 100 years by the year 2000s, the generations of people that were the very first people on the earth. That was the generation of 2000, more than 2000 years ago, right? And in such a recognition, we acknowledge and honor the mama, and we acknowledge the birth womb self. And that is where we really want South Africa to really not want to find a way to rush around information, want to find a way to divert information elsewhere, but we really want South Africa to learn to listen to how do you acknowledge yourself in your season, right? And that's our educational journey that we are sharing on our magazine and on our motivational books, and also on our self editions during this season. So let's stay tuned to our self educations, everyone, and let's stay tuned to honor our birth wombs in season, and to acknowledge our Mama Universe, Mama Anna Philander education years, and acknowledge the birth wombs that we are walking our season's journeys at, right? I always educate on my fashion, and I always say birthing every season. Birthing your season is presenting and acknowledging the right you in season. The right you is when Mama Universe educated the humanity that Mama Anna Philander is Mama Universe birth womb, then humanity don't divert the information somewhere else, right? When Mama Anna Philander was educated in every generation and family and in every political leader's house, then they don't want to steal the information, and they want to put the family in poverty, and they want to divert the information somewhere else, right? It is that we as human beings learn to acknowledge the right you when we educate and when we lead a generation of people in our season's journey. And that is us birthing our seasons every season with celebrating our season's journey with me, RIBEA ELISE. Thank you everyone for joining. Press like on our videos. It is Saturday. It's a very cozy day. We enjoy everything about this Saturday. And while we enjoy everything about this Saturday, we acknowledge ourselves. We're enjoying everything. You're going to love our fashion style. Everyone's going to love our fashion suit. This is the suit that we are wearing. We've got pink nails on ears, and we're doing everything pink. And this is dark blue. Tomorrow we're going to do dark blue dress with the pink nails with the suit again for our AWOKH fashions photos. And that's where we are at, everyone. We're going to continue with our discussions and what our Sunday cooking, yes. Be in our kitchen tomorrow morning. I know in a Sunday morning, everyone wants to join the kitchen. Everyone wants to check what I'm cooking. And I know my food has now really been boring because I myself is boring of my Sunday food. I'm boring now of all the sweet stuff, yes. I love sweet food. I love my pumpkin. I love my carrots, but I feel it's really a bit now a lot. I really now need a little bit. Winters now. I've had vegetable pots now for last week already. This week I'm again gonna make a lot of vegetable pots, lamb vegetable pot, and then I would really want to have a good salads and good fish, and I have not had a good fish in ever since Easter season, right? And in my good pasta, see, I want to have a good pasta, and I really want to have good fish because I now really have had a lot of stews. And yeah, so for everyone who loves the restaurant food, we don't know restaurants, if that's what we're now gonna be at, thank you. For New Zealand restaurants who does not know how to collaborate. I know I'm being a little bit harsh on my videos because people are a little bit playing around with us. America is educating how the vlogger processes works amongst humanity. Vlogger processes are processes that were implemented by the Army of America, and that includes international Army requirements. Vlogger processes are acknowledgement to certain businesses for certain reasons. Vloggers are then funded by the government and by the Armies and Defense Force in the American Celebrity House, educated very thoroughly. I know American Celebrity House says a lot of films through about the Real Housewives programs, and New Zealand should learn to know how to disregard certain television programs, because not every television program is having to be an implementation. Certain television programs are sharing information not in a direct communicative way. And I know officers are required to communicate directly, but we also know that the world is in poverty and everyone wants to do what they want to. And under such circumstances, America has educated the international world on how the vlogger processes work. I don't know if New Zealand government directly talks to America about those educations, and that's why New Zealand has thousands of restaurants, because the restaurants need to know how to implement such processes, because certain countries are waiting for the information. Let me just take my cell phone battery so that we can really see the thoroughness of what we are saying. Yes, there's still 9% on there. And while our generation are having to build countries in certain ways, the restaurants are exactly colored in the way that a certain country, like the island businesses, island countries, are then having to be presented. I know I myself am looking like an island type of a person. I don't now have the island hair like AWOKH, but AWOKH's photo speaks for itself, the family photo with the hair weave in, because some people might look for your blonde hair, some people might look for AWOKH's autumn season brunette hair, and the family bird womb is there, and RIBEA ELISE's AWOKH photo is now saying everything, and RIBEA still doesn't have to say so much. Really still doesn't have to say so much to everyone. Everyone can now really just have the information right. And when our birth womb are so interesting, and the islands are waiting for the information because they need to implement processes that they build and structure certain countries and certain island countries. And I know I'm on the island, New Zealand, where they're having to bring the cocktail moments and the initiatives and the family moments, and where countries are being building and restructuring their processes according to the recognition and acknowledgement of the international family womb. And while America said the informations of what the restaurants mean and why the bloggers goes to restaurants, and then restaurants are colored in a certain way that certain countries are having to be constructed, and America says information that they received and that gives direct information. And if countries and political leaders in New Zealand does not yet know, because New Zealand has got a lot of restaurants, and not all of those restaurants are making their money, because not all the processes are yet right. And America have said all the information to New Zealand. America says a lot on YouTube also, and they say how the vloggers really walk their season's journey in the birth womb from the different nationalities and countries, and how countries are really then constructed in the international world, right? So for New Zealand government, if there's arguments and New Zealand government really doesn't know what to do, then contact the American Celebrity House, their entertainment team, and they will exactly explain through those blogger processes and requirements. That is it, everyone. Let us not say too much because we can share a lot of these educations on our social media pages and on our educational discussions. New Zealand, contact the American Celebrity House and find out what the International Army and Defence Force mean with the blogger processes and why New Zealand restaurants have to implement processes and have to get the funding that they're having to have so that the international world are not in so much aggressions and poverties and arguments with relating to such processes and with how the world are having to be built and having to be constructed. Other than that, everyone have an amazing AWOKH season with me, RIBEA ELISE.